This is the plaintiff, Richard. He says he gave the defendant a deposit check on an apartment he wanted to rent, but he realized he wrote the check from the wrong account. He asked the defendant not to deposit that check and gave him a different check instead. Turns out the plaintiff cashed that first check and now won't return his money. That's why he's here today suing the crooked defendant for every penny of the $650 he's owed. This is the defendant, John Campbell. He says the plaintiff gave him a check, then told him not to cash it because it was going to bounce. Then he gave him a second check, and that one did bounce. After that, he told the guy he needed him to pay in cash, and he promised to bring him some, but he never showed. The plaintiff's crazy. He has no idea what he's doing, and there's no way he's going to get any money from him today. He's accused of lackadaisical landlording.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff gave a deposit on an apartment, but he used the wrong account, and it became a whole thing. But the defendant says the plaintiff's checks are more rubbery than Goodyear. It's the case of, we got to bounce.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Richard, you've asked us not to mention your last name. You are suing John Campbell, your would-be landlord, for $650, amount of a security deposit that you paid, and then he didn't let you move in.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what happened?
Okay, first of all, my girlfriend wanted me to move closer to her, so she found an apartment on Craigslist, and she acted as a go-between. In fact, this is the first date John and I ever met. We've never met. We had his ex-wife and his ex-wife's husband and my girlfriend. They were all like the people in between, so we've never met before.
How lazy can the two of you be, that you have your ex-wife and you have your girlfriend who may not still be your girl?
She's still my girlfriend.
All right, but she's finding your apartment and you don't even look at it? What are you saying?
No, we both looked at it.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't there. Okay,
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's a long, I'm gonna give you the short version. Okay, I'll try. My girlfriend found this apartment on Craigslist and she contacted the contact person who's John's ex-wife. He and his ex-wife both own this house.
Okay.
And so my girlfriend made an arrangement for both of us, my girlfriend and myself, to look at this apartment.
Okay.
And then his ex-wife's husband was the one who showed us the apartment.
Okay.
I never even met the ex-wife. And we liked the apartment, and I gave a deposit check to my girlfriend to give to them.
I'm sorry, and what? You agreed to rent it for how much?
Oh, $650 a month, ma'am.
Okay, and then how much were they asking as a deposit?
They just said $650 deposit, and then first month's rent by the 1st.
When you move in?
Yes,
All right.
April Fool's Day 1st.
Okay.
Okay, and so I gave a check to my girlfriend to give to them. Then I realized I wrote it from the wrong account.
What does that mean?
My business account instead of my personal account.
Okay.
And so my girlfriend said, "Don't worry, I'll tell them not to deposit it." I put a stop order on it, and she gave a check from her account.
Wait, you put a stop payment on the check?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Through Citibank, and she said, "Don't worry, I'll give them another check."
From her own account?
Right. So there was 2 checks involved. Those are the security deposits, and unbeknownst to me, my check went through and her check bounced, but mine
Her
cleared.
check bounced?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what happens?
And unbeknownst to me, my funds were given to him. I didn't know.
But your funds were given him, but there was no hanky-panky because you gave him a check, he cashed it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Then we were to give. Unbeknownst to everyone, that my money was already deposited and taken. And then we were supposed to put down $1,300 cash on the 31st.
For what?
That was supposed to be the security and the first month's rent.
Then what was the other $650 you'd already paid?
I didn't realize they cleared already.
Oh, okay. So why on the 31st? Who would wait to get money from you until the day before you're supposed to move in? What if you don't pony it up?
I don't know, but
all right, and what happened on the 31st?
That because my girlfriend hadn't gone there by 4 p.m., they said, "Forget it, the apartment's not available, and you owe us $75 for the bounce check."
Okay.
Okay, and then I realized.
Did you ever have any conversation with him?
Never.
All the conversations were through your girlfriend? Why isn't your girlfriend here to testify?
Well, okay, because her family doesn't know we're dating, and she doesn't want them to find out through.
Why doesn't she want them to find out? Well, it just gets better. I'm sorry, I'll be with you in a second. This is so juicy. Why doesn't she want them to find out?
Okay, well, okay. Her, boy, I'm gonna get in trouble now. Okay, well, she's an Indian, right?
Okay.
And in that culture.
Because you're not Indian?
Well, it's just that her family doesn't know. She hasn't had a chance to tell them she's dating someone. She's divorced. She's divorced.
She's divorced. Okay.
Well,
all right, it's not that
all
juicy.
of her family
I mean, it's
knows she's
juicy, but it's not that juicy.
Oh, but hold it. Not all her family knows she's divorced. In her culture, divorce is frowned on, and so only a couple of her relatives.
Except for that, in my culture, I need witnesses. So hold on one second. All right, let me talk to you. What's going on? According to you, what's the timeline here?
All right. On the 14th, Richard's girlfriend left a deposit for $650.
Now, that's after he had already left a deposit?
The very, very first one.
The very, very first check was a check written on an account of his that was a business account that the girlfriend left. Okay.
For $650.
Right.
On the 15th, she called back and said he put a stop payment on an account because it's mixed in with his wife's account, and he doesn't want anything that his wife to know that he's having an affair with her. So he put a stop payment on the account. So you have a very different story, I guess. So she actually tells you this? Yes.
Why would I tell my future landlord this story? Why would I do that?
The check is going to bounce.
Okay.
Don't cash it.
Just a second.
So I said, okay.
Stop.
Okay.
She says to you, so listen, I'm messing around with a married guy, and he did that's because you're just you're so lovable and so warm and fuzzy that she wants to dislodge on you.
It was joint with him and his wife.
Okay, and what? And he's separated and they're divorced.
I
and
have no idea.
Is this a joint account or was it a business account? He's totally making this up.
Name, yeah.
Okay, go on.
All right, on the 15th, she said, don't cash the check. So she wrote a new one. She writes the new one. I put that one in the bank.
What day does she give you that one?
That one is right here. That's dated on the 15th.
And is that the day she gave it to you?
Well, it's dated on the 15th, but I have my bank statements. It went in on the 17th.
Did you go in person to the bank or did you just...
No, my ex-wife, she dropped it off over there at the house.
Bank? At the house?
She put it in. She put it in
at
my account for me because I'm away on business.
Okay, go on.
She puts it in the account. On the 19th, I got a return check.
Right.
Figuring it's his check.
Right.
Okay? And a $10 return check fee.
Right.
That's on the 19th. On the 29th, she calls me and says, please call me back. My check bounced.
Okay.
Call me. She sends me an email apologizing for the check bounce and a letter from her bank that the check bounced, and she apologized for his check bouncing. Now, this is on the 20th.
But his check didn't bounce.
But we all thought it bounced because he
well,
put the
you thought it bounced because you never looked at your account, but go on.
Right. We all thought it bounced because when a bounce check came, remember one came back? We all thought it was his.
Okay.
So I said, all right, we'll meet tomorrow. I call her at 11 o'clock the next day. I said, we're going to meet, right? Here's my son's phone number. I sent you an email. I got an email from the night before.
What day are you supposed to meet, the 30th or the 31st?
The 30th. And she just never showed up. I never heard from him again.
And then what happens?
Next time I hear from him is on the 7th.
But you don't, out of curiosity, you don't call her or him or anybody to find out?
Who would want someone who just wrote them 2 bad checks?
Right. And then when do you find out that the first check, I guess when your statement comes in April is when you find out that...
when he called me on the 7th.
Oh, that's how you find out. So you still haven't even gotten your statement to find out that you had ever cashed anything of theirs. And then he says to you, hey, you cashed my check on the 7th, but you don't hear from anybody between March 30th and April 7th.
Not a soul, no.
Do you have any evidence that you contacted or your girlfriend contacted him on the 30th or the 31st?
Yes, ma'am.
May I see it?
Okay, this is March 31st. This is text messaging between my girlfriend and his ex-wife.
Well, my ex-wife has nothing to do with it.
Well, no, your ex-wife has something to do with it. She showed them the apartment. You can't say my ex-wife has nothing to do with it. How can you say that? You told me yourself she's doing the banking on this, and she's accepting the checks.
All right.
You can't just say that. How convenient.
May I give some context to what you're seeing there?
Okay.
My girlfriend was in contact with his ex-wife, and she was supposed to drop off the $1,300 cash on the 31st.
At what time?
Well, they didn't make an arrangement for the exact time, and the girlfriend the ex-wife contacted my girlfriend and says, after 4 p.m. it's too late. You don't have the apartment.
No, that's not what happened. I'm going to tell you what did happen, though. I can tell you it's not the 30th. It's the 31st where your ex-wife who's handling your affairs is handling this. The ex-wife, it's now 6:38 at night. The ex-wife says, sorry, can't do, left at 4, no call, meaning no call from you. It's not available, meaning the apartment's no longer available because they're sick of you. You know, because why? Because you've given one check you said that you stopped payment on, another check that bounced, bank error, and they're holding the apartment for you for the last 2.5 weeks, and they think they don't have a penny from you, and they're tired of you. They don't want to get into a relationship with you where they have to go through chasing you every month for your money. All right. So your version of this is, hey, wait a second. We're still trying on the 31st to bring them the cash, and because we feel so bad that her check bounced, and we feel so bad that I put a stop payment on the other one and they have no money, and I really want the apartment, so we're trying to get them the cash on the 31st, and we should have been able to rent the apartment. Your version is, I've gotten 2 bad checks. What do I do with the fact that you didn't get 2 bad checks? Where the agreement is, you're going to pay me security deposit now and you're going to pay me rent before you move in. And on the 31st, your girlfriend's telling them, because everybody thinks the first check didn't clear, your girlfriend's telling them, I don't know why, apparently nobody can be bothered to look at their own bank account. Your girlfriend is telling them it's not available for you. What do I do with that part?
So when most people write bad checks that bounce, do they know when they write it that it's probably no good?
I think they usually have an idea that it's going to bounce and they need to move some money over.
You buying that?
Yeah, I do.
You think, are most people surprised when a check bounces, or do they kind of know?
They know. They know that it's going to bounce.
So it's a scam, kind of.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
Usually your side, okay, if this side was saying to you, I changed my mind, I found a better place, I no longer want to rent it, give me my money back. That's one case. I always say, tough for you. You hinked up the joint, you made them hold the place, tough, deposits non-refundable, you can't just play with people's contracts that way. But these are people who from the text are trying to really rent the place, and you're entitled, you're free and American. You can go ahead and decide, I don't want to rent these people, they're too big a hassle. That's fine. But you've cashed their check. That's the reality. You didn't know you did, but you did. So how are they in breach as opposed to you in breach by not giving them the key? Or not letting them get the cash? No, I know they didn't come that day. But there's a text from his girlfriend to your ex-wife saying, I just read it to you. And that's the 31st when that happens. And you've already cashed their check.
Because I have an email from her stating his check is no good and hers is no good. So at that point, all of us thought his check was no good, correct?
Okay, but on the 7th, when you find out you cashed it, so then they're not really in breach. This is a very unique case. I've never had one that looks like this, because it's everybody's, you're all like thinking you're doing the right thing.
She was supposed to meet me, but she never showed up to meet me that
I know
Sunday.
She never showed up.
I waited.
I know she never showed up. She tried to show up a little later. And I don't know about you. I don't know what you're waiting. According to this, it's your ex-wife.
She got my phone number.
She is telling your ex-wife at 5:22, I'll bring you the cash.
Neither one of them should have been involved.
She is telling your
I don't even know how
ex-wife
she got
at
involved with her.
5:22. What did you just say?
How did the ex-wife and his girlfriend get involved with our affair?
Are you out of your stinking mind? Because you put them there.
I didn't.
Who showed the apartment?
The ex-wife's husband.
Who deposited the check?
The ex-wife.
So you're asking me to find out why your ex-wife is involved in your affairs? You know what? When I see somebody the day before trying to give you the cash, and I know that you did in fact cash the check, whether you realize it or not, I say that at that moment when you won't let them at 5:22 give you the cash and move in, you're in breach, not them. Return the money. $650 verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Judge Milian rules it's the defendant right here, the landlord, in breach of this contract. And what's your comment here?
Deposit's a deposit. You don't show up and pick up the key, and you write 2 bad checks.
Did you just get tired of all their shenanigans and change the deal?
Wouldn't anyone be tired of
And then cause you to change the deal on them?
No, I didn't. That's not why. They just didn't show up. The woman's supposed to meet me with the money to grab and they just were no-show.
Yeah, well, you breached the contract.
Okay.
All right.
All right, sir.
Follow that officer right there. All right, so come on in here, and what's your take on this?
I'm very happy with the outcome, sir.
Yeah.
And, thank God the judge was intelligent enough to see the facts and make a judgment properly on the facts.
That's it from in here. Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, in some states, when you present a check and you know that it's not going to clear, you have that knowledge ahead of time, you can be held for double and even triple the amount of the actual check.